Hello, I'm Richard Wilson. I'm the Case Manager at the Standards Commission for Scotland. This short video aims to outline what you can expect at a Standards Commission hearing if you've been asked to appear as a witness for either the Ethical Standards Commissioner or for a respondent, or if you've been required by the Standards Commission to appear. Firstly, a quick look at the parties involved in a hearing. Firstly, the hearing panel, comprising of 3 members of the Standards Commission. After listening to evidence and submissions, the panel will make a decision on whether the respondent breached the applicable code of conduct and, if so, on the sanction to be imposed. Secondly, the Ethical Standards Commissioner, that's the ESC, or their representative. It's the responsibility of the ESC to investigate complaints alleging a breach of the code. At the hearing, the ESC will then present the findings of their investigation and their reasons why they have concluded the respondent has or has not breached the code. And lastly, the respondent or their representative. The respondent is a person who is alleged to have breached the code of conduct. They are entitled to attend the hearing, give evidence, and make submissions on whether or not they have breached the code. So why have you been asked to appear? You will have been asked or cited to appear in order to provide your recollection of what you saw, heard or witnessed in respect of the alleged breach of the code by the respondent and the circumstances around it. This is to help the panel to determine whether the respondent breached their code of conduct. You will have been asked to appear as a witness for either the ESC or the respondent, or cited to appear by the Standards Commission. Before the hearing, if the hearing is held in person, the ESC or respondent will contact you to advise you of the date and time of the hearing and of any other arrangements. If the hearing is held online, the Standards Commission will contact you to send you information about how the hearing will be conducted, including a guidance note on using Zoom, and will send you a joining link. The party who has asked you to appear may also contact you to discuss the general nature of your evidence. For example, that you will be giving evidence about what you observed at a certain meeting on a certain date. You should not, however, discuss the specifics of your evidence before the hearing. If anyone approaches you before the hearing to ask what you intend to say, or to try to influence your testimony in any way, by persuasion, threats, or any other means, you should contact the Standards Commission immediately. You can also contact the Standards Commission if you have any questions or concerns about what the hearing process is, or what is expected of you as a witness. If you need assistance to give evidence because of physical or mental impairment, language difficulty, or any other substantial reason, you should ask the party calling you to advise the Standards Commission staff accordingly at least 14 days before the hearing, so that they can put appropriate supportive measures in place prior to the hearing, as far as is reasonably practicable. Upon arrival, if the hearing is held in person, when you arrive at reception, you should ask for a Standards Commission staff member who will direct you to a waiting area. You are not permitted to enter the hearing room until it is your time to give evidence. You will be collected and shown where to sit when the panel is ready to hear your evidence. If the hearing is held online, when you join the online meeting, which will be held on Zoom, you will be admitted from the waiting room so that Standards Commission staff can check your connectivity, resolve any technical issues, and answer any queries you may have. You will then be asked to leave and rejoin the meeting, where you will be kept in the waiting room until it is your turn to give evidence, at which point Standards Commission staff will admit you to the hearing. You are not permitted to watch the live stream of the hearing until it is your time to give evidence. When you're admitted to the hearing, whether it's held in person or online, the panel chair will introduce you to the panel and to the parties. You will then be asked to swear an oath or make a solemn affirmation. Unfortunately, it's not possible to give an exact time as to when you will be called to give your evidence, but this will depend on whether there are any preliminary matters that require to be dealt with at the beginning of a hearing, and how long it may take to question any other witnesses. As such, you may be waiting for some time. While Standards Commission staff will endeavour to keep you updated, this may not always be possible. We ask that you refrain from leaving the waiting area or the online waiting room, other than for a comfort break, until you're called. If the panel adjourns the hearing for longer than 10 minutes, you'll be advised of the time when you need to be back in the waiting area. The Standards Commission asks witnesses to confirm they will tell the truth by swearing either an oath or making a solemn affirmation before they give their evidence. When you join the hearing, you'll be asked by the panel chair to choose whether you wish to make an oath or an affirmation. These are as follows. The oath reads, "I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth." And the affirmation reads, "I solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth." We'll have a look now at the order of evidence. Firstly, in circumstances where you have been called as a witness by the ESC, your evidence will be heard as follows. 1. Evidence in chief. The ESC or their representative will ask you questions about your recollection of what you saw, heard, or witnessed in respect of the alleged breach of the code and the circumstances around it. 2. Cross-examination. Then, the respondent or their representative may ask you questions on the evidence you have given. 3. Members of the panel may then ask you questions. And 4. The ESC or their representative will then have the opportunity to ask you questions on any matters arising from what you were asked during any cross-examination or by the panel. This is called re-examination. In circumstances where you have been called as a witness by the respondent, your evidence will be heard in the following order. 1. Evidence in chief. The respondent or their representative will ask you questions about your recollection of what you saw, heard, or witnessed in respect of the alleged breach of the code and the circumstances around it. 2. Cross-examination. The ESC or their representative may then ask you questions on the evidence you have given. 3. Members of the panel may then ask you questions. And 4. Again, re-examination, where the respondent or their representative will have the opportunity to ask you questions on any matters arising from what you were asked during the cross-examination or by the panel. While giving evidence, you may be referred to a file containing numbered documents, known as productions. These will be on the witness table in front of you, or, if the hearing is held online, will be shared on screen. You must not discuss your evidence with any other witnesses involved in the case, either before the hearing or while you're waiting to give evidence. When you're giving your evidence, you should listen carefully to each question and try to answer it as clearly as you can. Some answers will be a simple yes or no. Other questions will need you to provide more explanation. If you do not understand a question, you should ask for it to be repeated or clarified. Please always make sure that the panel and the person asking the question can hear your answers. You should answer any questions honestly and accurately and to the best of your recollection. Don't guess. If you do not know the answer to a question, you should just say so. Relevancy is important at hearings. The panel may decline to hear evidence which is not directly relevant and material to the question of whether there has been a breach of the Code of Conduct. The panel chair may, therefore, intervene and prevent you from answering a question if the panel is of the view that your answer will not be relevant. The party calling you as a witness should not put leading questions to you. Those are questions that inquire a particular response, unless they are on introductory matters. The panel can choose to disregard any evidence elicited from a leading question. You should only be asked to give evidence about what you witnessed, i.e., what you saw, heard, or understood to have happened. You should not be asked or attempt to give your opinion or views on the respondent or anyone else's conduct, including whether you consider if a breach of the code has occurred. When you're being cross-examined, it may be that the ESC or respondent or their representatives will challenge your recollection of events. The panel will not, however, allow them to badger you by, for example, antagonizing or mocking you deliberately, or by asking insulting or derisive questions in an attempt to provoke an emotional response. The panel will ask any party doing so to desist and may prevent them from asking you any further questions. Once you have completed giving your evidence, the panel chair will confirm that you're able to step down from the witness table, or, if the hearing is being held online, leave the online meeting. You're welcome to then take a seat in the public area and listen to the remainder of the hearing, or to watch the live stream in the event the hearing is being held online, should you wish. You cannot go back into the witness waiting room or discuss the case with any witnesses who are yet to give evidence. A few other matters to note. You will not be able to refer to your own notes or to other documents when giving evidence. If you can't remember what happened, you should just say so. You should note that the Standards Commission holds its hearings in public. That means that members of the public and press can attend and observe. In-person hearings are usually held at the headquarters of the council or public body the respondent is a member of. In circumstances where a hearing is held online, it will be live streamed via the Standards Commission's website. The panel's decision about whether there has been a breach of the Code of Conduct, and, if so, the sanction that is to be imposed, will be published on the Standards Commission's website shortly after the conclusion of the hearing. Additionally, a press release outlining the panel's decision will normally also be issued and published. The panel's full written decision will be published on the website within 21 days of the conclusion of the hearing. Your evidence may be summarised in this. However, you should note the Standards Commission will redact the name of any witness from the published written decision or press release unless they are a councillor, member of a devolved public body, or an MSP. I hope you found this video to be informative. If you've got any questions at all about being a witness or about the hearing process or the Standards Commission's work, then please contact us using the email inquiries@standardscommission.org.uk. Thank you.